Okay, everybody. Hello, algoriters, soulmates. I'm Al Reynolds, and welcome to part 3 of Diddy Do It with attorney Symone Redwine and criminal defense attorney Brion Ross. All right, before we dive in, I would like to thank all of my subscribers for joining me. Guys, you guys have just been so supportive and so overwhelming that we just can't get to everybody, but we're loving every second of it. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button and also leave a comment because that's very important for our engagement. Also, everybody, please let's practice this. Put that fax emoji in that chat and do it right now. I want to see a lot of fax emojis because when you come to the Al Reynolds show or to my channel, Diddy Do It, the fax emojis is showing love. So please show a little bit of love with some fax emojis. All right. Also, before we get started, I want to share with everyone the concept of the show. It's very important. Me and the attorneys want you to know I am your host, and the premise of this show is to be very fast paced, tons of questions, tons of topics, disruptives, sometimes over the top, sometimes rude, sometimes messy. We may scream and holler, but we want you to make sure you pay attention because we want you to get all this good tea that attorney Redwine and attorney Ross are spilling. So don't get distracted because there will be cutting people off, telling people to be quiet, disagreement, agreement, and all of the above. Number 2, tomorrow night, unfortunately, criminal defense attorney Brion Ross will not be able to join us on Thursday, but have no fear. We have the incomparable attorney Ryan L. Jones from Washington, D.C. Ryan Jones will be joining us. And let me just give you a background on Ryan. Ryan went to Georgetown Law School. Ryan ran for the Attorney General of Washington, D.C. Ryan worked for years in his own private practice, and he's also a guest lecturer at Georgetown University. We can't wait to hear attorney Ryan L. Jones lean in tomorrow night. Number 3, all right, let's get back to the show. Everyone, please welcome the lovely attorney Symone Redwine and the criminal defense attorney Brion Ross. All right, give Brion Ross some fax emojis for getting that background together for us.
Yeah.
And he's going to look into the camera, everybody, because he is learning fast. You know, those lawyers, those legal beagles, these are my legal beagles. They don't take long now. They learn and correct very fast because they know it goes straight to their bank accounts. All right, everybody. This is what we're going to talk about tonight, and it's going to be juicy. It is good, and Symone can't wait to share. We're going to take a deep dive into why Daphne Joy, 50 Cent's baby mama, has been added to the complaint. Also, Carisha Please, known as Young Miami, has been added to the complaint. Now, listen, they're not just added to the complaint. They are added to the complaint as workers. Yes, sirree. It's in the legal documents. They're added to the complaint as workers for Diddy and his trafficking. What we call this?
Enterprise, like a RICO enterprise
accusations. All right,
as charged by RICO.
All right, that's right. Number 2, we're going to talk about the large amount of celebrities that have leaned in and talked about the good. Stevie J, Tyrese, and Slim Thug are standing by Diddy and saying that they're going to pray for him. And in some cases, they're believing that he's being set up, that he's the fall guy. But also, we see that Torre had a family member who said that he had he described it as a horrible experience with Diddy by working as an intern. So horrible that he didn't want to tell his uncle or whoever he is, his bigger cousin, uncle, Torre, what happened during that intern. He just stopped going. We know that Tanika Ray, the exceptional celebrity host that worked on Extra, has also leaned in saying that, hey, it was bad. My experience was bad. And I'm not surprised that anything that's happening to him. I can't wait to get Symone's perspective on the ladies, and can't wait to get Attorney Brion, criminal defense attorney Brion Ross's perspective on the man. Then we're going to talk about who got the kids, who got the girls, where are the kids and where are the girls, and why is King Combs throwing a party this Saturday in Hollywood while his daddy and family are under investigation? Have you ever heard anything so crazy? Lastly, well, not lastly, fourth, we're going to go to our two attorneys and we're going to say, if you were representing Diddy, what would you be telling your client right now? What advice would you be giving your client right now? Would you advise that the client's kids be throwing a party in Hollywood with alcohol and dancing and we don't know what else going on? What would you be telling your clients right now? And lastly, the last 5 and 10 minutes of the show is going to be for you, the viewers. That's right, you, the viewers, because we value you, how you think, and what questions you have on your mind as it relates to this case. Now, I don't want you to put your questions in the chat right now. Hold your questions because we're going to get to it because you guys are so overwhelming in our chat that we can't keep up with you. So I'm going to tell you when to put your questions in the chat. All right, enough being said, let's jump right in. All right, Symone. Now, you're the one that brought this to the forefront today in our meeting, and you're saying Daphne Joy, that's 50 Cent's baby mama, and Caresha Please, that's Young Miami, she's been real quiet lately, have been added to the complaint as sex workers. Please tell me you're lying.
Yes. Now, hold on. Before I can say anything else, I have to let you guys know in the audience, the way my ADD is set up, I am very grateful for Al and anyone else in my life. I need y'all to sometimes kind of keep me combined and on task because I'm not on my ADD medications, okay? So I need a moderator. Thank you, Al. Secondly, before I get to the juice, this little gentleman that's going to be here tomorrow, Ryan, does he have a wife or what's going on there? Do we know? I mean,
you know what, Symone, you don't keep it in your pants, please.
Look at that no instruction.
Oh,
okay,
wild.
everyone knows
Hey,
I'm
Brian,
recently
you
unengaged.
see how she sell you down the river? She sold you down
It's
the
all
river.
right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
It didn't even get cold yet.
I'm recently
Listen,
unengaged.
all he's
I
going to do is
just want to
make me
let
step
people
my game
know.
up. He's going to make me step my game up.
Look at the way that I'm dating. If he doesn't burglarize me at my home or burglarize me at my office, I'm never going to get a husband. Anyhow.
All right, let's go.
On this topic so it's been interesting because over the last year, Daphne Joy and Young Miami have had some little Twitter spats over the years, and I hadn't really understood it. But now that I see that they're competing workers pursuant to this complaint, it's clear that the crux of the issue probably was they were both dating Diddy at the same time. Now, let me be clear. Here, the definition of sex workers, it's used very loosely. It's a bit of attorney, the way the attorney is marketing the concept, right? Because we all know when it comes to a jury case, whoever tells a better story wins. What they're really saying in the complaint is that Diddy has given them both an allowance and they're getting paid to do it to him. So that's the true reason that the plaintiff's attorney has defined them as workers. But more importantly, was really interesting. And bailiff, if you could put the section of the complaint that references Daphne Joy or the one that references, there we go. We've got these sections that were highlighted here where I'm going to lean in because I'm old. It says that Mr. Jones referenced being in bed, waking up in bed, and that a little later, Mr. Combs waited a little later to do coke with Young Miami. That was one of the things. And the title of this section is Workers in Mr. Jones' Bed the morning after he was. The second interesting thing that Mr. Jones alleges is he says that in paragraph 197, he says that Robin, which is one of the assistants, Robin the accountant, she would ensure in writing that funds were transferred, that there were cash payments to sex workers.
No.
Specifically, she referenced she would make payments to Frankie, another person, as well as Brendan Paul, that was the dealer, and KK. They would also be responsible for ensuring that payments to sex workers were made in cash. Young Miami and Daphne Joy were paid a monthly fee to work as Mr. Combs workers and receive payment via wire transfer. Now,
got it. Now hold on. Stay right there, Symone. Hold on. Stay right there 1 second. Criminal defense lawyer. How incriminating is that in the complaint? What is that lawyer trying to get out or prove in this case with this information right here?
The scariest way to pay someone is with a wire transfer because it creates an automatic footpath. So what they're trying to do is get those bank records to find out what the payments were for. And remember, there's going to be a deposition of these people at some point in time if this case doesn't settle. Those bank records will be introduced as exhibits in that deposition, and they will be questioned about them. If they come and say, well, we were just regular workers, that answer will not suffice. The attorney will dig into that relationship. He may have video, he may have audio. There'll be many things he gets to. The answer of, oh, I just worked for him will not work. It will not stop there. That question alone can take hours.
Hold on, Symone. Now, Symone, now Cassie said, right? We saw in Cassie's complaint that she said that as being a sex worker for him, she was the one that had to hire the boys from the sex sites.
Yeah.
Right? She was the one that greeted them when they came in, and she had to have sex with these various escorts that had large appendages because he only liked large appendages according to Cassie.
I know that to be a fact.
Okay, we know that to be a fact. Now,
I do.
Are we saying in this complaint, is Rodney Jones alluding because when Cassie was moved out of the picture, that Daphne and Carissa Please took on that role too?
That's exactly what it sounds like, Al.
Yes.
And not only does it sound like that, I'd say two additional things. Carisha has already interviewed in interviews. She's alluded to the fact that he gives her an allowance of around $100,000, right? Wow. That he will spend $100,000 on her, no problem. But more importantly, piggybacking off of what Brian said, the whole wire, 2 words, y'all pay attention to: wire fraud. I would not be surprised if they being Homeland Security or the feds, they are one and the same, were to bring her in by saying, we need you to interview and we want you to testify, because if not, there are chances that you could be charged with wire fraud. Because here's what happens, and this happens all the time with pretty girls. Go on the internet if you want to and date these rich men, date these Simons like Portia has, and these different men who are giving you things, and then you want to post this nice little stuff that he's giving you, but you ain't paid nary damn taxes. I bet you none of these bags, none of these. Carisha has posted herself with cars. This man gives you a Rolls Royce worth $280,000. You have to put that on your taxes, and you have to pay taxes as though you earned $280,000. And I guarantee you that has not been transpiring, neither with Miss Daphne nor.
Got it. Now, Brian, I just love it. That's why we love having a woman on the panel, because she would bring that female perspective in there that
right away
us men would have never thought. Now, Brian, as a man's perspective, I'm thinking the reason why Rodney Jones' attorney put sex worker in there is because if you say sex worker is sex trafficking, it's immediate federal.
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely right.
It's an elevation play to make this more serious than just hearsay or she say.
Right.
Right. So because he called them sex workers in a sex trafficking, you're going to have, like you said the other night, you're going to have Homeland Security, Border Control, FBI. So he's basically opening the door to bring the entire feds into Diddy's life. Am I wrong in interpreting it that way?
Correct. And it's very important to remember that in this climate where you have a Super Bowl in LA, a Super Bowl in Miami, the federal government is directly intervening into the world of.
That's right.
So if you lay worker on that complaint, you immediately make people pay attention.
Trigger that. Okay.
Trigger that.
All right. Anything we want to add as we rotate out of the Daphne and Carisha, please?
I need to.
All right.
Point of clarification. I saw in the comments that someone stated that Daphne has a newborn. Is Daphne Joy the baby mama to the baby love?
Wow.
Am I correct that Daphne Joy has 2 children, one by Diddy and one by 50 Cent? Is that the
No,
whole
I don't think that's correct. But
Yeah, I don't think so
let's
either.
ask guy. Let's do our research on that, because you know one
That
thing
doesn't
about
sound
me and
right.
my fans know about me is that we do our research. We never want to misspeak, but I think if it was Daphne Joy, don't you think we would know by now? Now
Well,
I
no, it
do.
is the complaint states Daphne Joy.
No, no, no. I'm
Daphne
talking
Joy,
about you're saying is the new baby by Diddy,
correct. I don't
Daphne's.
think so. I think that's a no-name Asian lady. I think it's an
Okay.
Asian lady that's just not famous.
Correct.
But it was
Okay.
interesting to me that Daphne Joy was added because that now explains a little bit more of 50 Cent's animus. Because he's
Yes,
got this
for sure.
animus towards Diddy. And
For
50
sure.
Cent don't play about disrespect. Now, I've heard a lot of things about him, and I'll tell you, in my life, I fear God, my mama, and a Twitter beef with 50 Cent. Okay. I don't want no smoke for him. Mr. 50, please don't do it. Please don't. But what's interesting is I know people over the years. I went to college. One of my best friends from college is also best friend with 50 Cent. As much as he does seem petty and mean, he is also a very, very loyal person. So it was interesting to me to hear this because I would not be surprised if he's, for example, expressed things to his baby mom, Daphne Joy, and kind of felt like, you know what, this was disloyal of you to have laid down with me, dated me, and then gone over to this mofo and did that.
Wow.
So
Right.
I wonder if that might be a part of the animus that's there.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I just want to make this correction for everybody because I know the chats are going crazy. All
They
right.
are.
The
They are.
correction is Gina is the girl with the new
Thank
baby.
you.
Gina
Thank you.
Hun, and that is the new baby mama. We do not want to go on the record saying that
Oh.
anybody other than Gina is the mother of the new baby. All right, now let's go back really quick because I think we spent a lot of time here, but I want to share this last little piece as it relates to 50 cents. Now we know from the streets are speaking very loud that Daphne Joy had a very similar role as Cassie in the recruitment of the boys or of the men, of the escorts. All right. So I just want to add that the streets and from our comments are saying that Daphne Joy was definitely involved in booking the escorts for Diddy. All right. That's allegedly. Allegedly, but according to Rodney Jones, is not allegedly. All right. Let's keep going. All right. So let's go to this weird division amongst celebrities. All right. You have some celebrities, mostly men, that are saying, hey, we're going to stand in support. He's an icon. You know, he's a hip hop icon. He's a culture icon. We're going to stand by you. And we feel like you're the fall guy for something. Now, that's what Stevie J is saying. That's what Tyrese is saying. That's what Slim Thug is saying. What do you think about that, Symone? Do any of those three men have any levy or
Wait. Now we said Tyrese, Slim Thug, and who was the other one? Stevie J?
Stevie J.
Stevie J.
Now, Stevie J is allegedly playing with people's
Ooh.
okay. Tyrese is always crying about something. He has no credibility with me. But I would be more likely to listen to Slim Thug both because I'm a Houstonian. But also, I understand it to be the gist of what he's saying is, hey, it could happen to any of us. So before I pass judgment, I want to hear more of the facts, and that's okay. I can see any
I want to make
musician.
sure I understand what you're saying. You're saying that sex trafficking. I just want to be clear, a counselor, that you're saying trafficking. You are agreeing that sex trafficking could happen to any of us?
No, I think he's saying these level of allegations with you being a rapper with lots of money could happen to any of them, not us.
Okay, all right. I just want to make it so.
If you're watching,
I'm confused by that because you can't get sex trafficking allegations unless you're trafficking.
But the crux of this, though, this is not a trafficking lawsuit. This is a civil lawsuit for money. And you don't get sued for millions of dollars unless you have millions of dollars.
Brian, I don't know what she's doing, but it looks like she's doing a little bit of backpedaling up in here tonight.
I'm learning. I'm learning.
You're doing the backstroke better than the backstroke gold medalist.
No. I'm not saying. What I'm saying is it all started with this guy saying I was unpaid and Diddy followed.
No.
Right?
I don't want you to back up out of this. So, you know, right. We said we were gonna call each other out. We said we were gonna get messy.
Come on, get him red wine. Get him red wine.
Look, you know, Slip Thug is from Houston. We understand that's your boy.
I'm with you, Slim. I'm with you, boy.
Okay, Brian, let's go to the celebrities that are not in support. We found out this morning that Torre had a family member. He called Diddy up because he had a strong enough relationship. Let's talk about that, because that to me I found to be super interesting. He had a strong enough relationship to call Diddy up on the phone.
Yes.
Everybody follow me on this. To call Diddy up on the phone to get an internship for a family member. All right, yes. 10 years ago. So these rumors have been swirling around Hollywood for 2 decades, if not 3.
Yes.
So 10 years ago, Torre decides he's going to ignore the rumors and send a family member into what I would describe as what we've heard, the lion's den.
The den of inequity.
All right, there we go. Now, Brian, he's now coming out and saying that his family member had a horrible experience, didn't want to talk about it, refused to go back to work, and Torre never said anything until today. All right, let's talk about, hold that thought. We talk about Tanika Ray from Extra. We love Tanika Ray. She was so fun on TV. She said that she had she described it as a horrible experience, and that it's something that this is what she see happening right now, is nothing that she didn't expect. Right? Counselor, tell me why this is damaging for Diddy and his lawyers in his case.
Remember what you asked me yesterday. You said, what advice or fears do you have for Mr. Combs when you're his lawyer? And my instant answer, without even thinking about it, was there's too many witnesses. So here we are 72 hours removed from this raid, and you already have all these people saying we had a common experience with Diddy. And he's imposing that you can't get away from him. I mean, this is what Tanika Ray is saying. She kept her space. She kept her distance. She knew not to go near him. This is a reputation that precedes and follows the man, unfortunately. Whether it's true or not, that is the common theme. And in federal court, sometimes a modus operandi, that's everyone's legal term of the day, modus operandi, habits are admissible in federal court. So these
what does
things
that
are very
mean?
dangerous.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Well, there's certain rules of what's called hearsay. Everyone knows hearsay.
Right.
But there are exceptions to hearsay. A couple of the exceptions to hearsay are modus operandi. If I am a bank thief and the only thing I do is go steal from Chase Bank because I used to work there and I understand there, my modus operandi is to steal from Chase Bank. That's it.
Wow.
So if we have a pattern of people who say, I worked with Diddy and I didn't feel comfortable because he touched my leg. If that's accumulated, it could be introduced as evidence against him in a federal trial to show the jury that he has a modus operandi or habit of forcing himself upon people.
I never knew
only
that.
Come from witnesses, and that's why it's so dangerous.
Okay.
I'd like to add to that.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Now, and I would also say, when I heard Torre's story, I believed it up front. I heard piece of Tanika's story. I believed it up front.
Yep.
Because I dated a man who used to be one of Diddy's workers. Let me tell you about this man. He was so fine. I didn't even care that he was gay sometimes. I pretended not to notice. He was gorgeous. He was so gorgeous. Okay. I'm not going to say which African country he was from, because it might be a giveaway to people who know me and who knew. But he exemplified.
Did you say African country?
Yeah, it's a continent, boo boo. I know I was a national American. So, I'm not gonna say where he's from, but he exemplified BBC, big black, right? Gorgeous, just shiny and shimmery and all that stuff. And I remember him telling me this was in like 2012. He was like, he was a model and everything in New York and stuff. That's when I was like, oh, I went through my African phase, right? I only like African men who are good at math and science because I didn't want to struggle. And he was
trying to get an engineer, huh?
all the above. I was like, oh, because they don't never miss, honey. They don't ever miss. And he also happened to be a model, and he had this amazing bone structure. And anyone who knows me knows I like men with great bone structure, right? That way, if you get that, you're gonna be just like cute, like Teddy Roosevelt. I digress.
Like attorney Brian Jones.
Yes. Oh, but if he's married, forgive me. If he's unmarried, well, it doesn't count.
I'm sorry, my bone structure isn't there. I'll work on it though.
No, you're married. You're off limits.
Yeah, nobody cares. You're good at gaming. I can give you a hug. You can cuddle. You're my friend, but I can't do it to you. Anyway, back to my gay boyfriend. He used to participate in Diddy's activities, or he said he only went to one. And I remember having him describe it, and he told me that it was in New York. It was in the outskirts, like a little bit upstate, or wherever. He said he walked in. I think he told me that they had on like masks and things like that, so that you wouldn't immediately know what was what. But he said it was too much. He claimed he only did it one time because I think he knew it. He told me like, yeah, I fondled Diddy's butthole every Thursday. That I wouldn't, give him multiple dates. But I'm just saying, as an example, I have heard these stories for over a decade. So now that this came out, and literally what he told me tracked Cassie's complaint, I was like, oh, I think there's some there. I think there's something here.
All right. So thank you, Symone, for that story. Now, we're going to close this out with my thoughts on this. And I've said this on multiple occasions. It's really sad to me that we have not created an environment where abusers like this, with all these stories, right? We haven't created an environment where people can come forward when it happens to them. Because can you imagine if people came forward 20 years ago, all of this that we're uncovering right now, all these people that have been assaulted, all these people that allegedly assaulted, allegedly trafficked, all these people would not have had this experience if we had just created an environment where people can feel comfortable to come forward with their stories. I just want to leave that right there for everybody to understand that in 2024, we have to do better as a culture. We have to do better as a community, and we have to do better as citizens to create a culture for people that are abused in any way, that they feel comfortable to come forward so we can stop the abuse. All right, everybody, let's keep going. I just want to give my little public service announcement there. All right, who got the kids? That's what I want to know. Who got the kids? All right, where are the daughters? Because we know that they are underage. Some people say that they're staying with Kimora, who's the godmother, but where are the daughters? And can you imagine watching all of this unfold on television, on your phone? Those little girls are very sophisticated. They walk in fashion shows in Milan. They are the talk of the town. They're socialites. You can't tell me that they're not watching all of these accusations of workers, trafficking, all this comments and talks around their dad. How do you think they're feeling? What do you think is going through their mind, Brian? You're the parent here.
I think that they're having a hard time. The problem is you still have to go to school. You still have to go to gymnastics. You still have to go to soccer. You still have to go to fashion. And people are coming up saying to you, what's going on with your dad? I heard about your dad. And here it's too much. It's really too much for them. I feel bad that they're in this position. I really do. I really do.
That, you know what? And there's no way that those young ladies can escape this. No. And what do you think Misa is saying, attorney Redwine, who she already was mad. She was mad months ago, if not a year ago. What do you think is going through her mind?
And before I even get into Misa, I want to take this time to say, ladies, gentlemen, if you are no longer married to your children's parent, this is the time, this is the signal to get a will. I say that because in Kim's instance, right, if she left a will, that will could say, if anything ever happens to me, I want their godmother, Kimora, to play the mother role.
Yes.
And that actually would take precedence in the event that, let's say, CPS were to become involved in the situation, right? And it was a situation of grandmother versus Kimora. A judge would give a lot of weight to the fact that this is who the mother who is speaking from the grave has appointed. So it is never too late to get a will. So
so let me ask you this really quickly. Does it matter that Kimora is laden with legal woes with her ex-husband?
No, because none of those things are criminal with respect to her. It's her ex-husband has done he's white collar crime and he's a white man. Let's just say what it is.
Call a spade a spade. Okay.
Call a spade a spade.
All right. So we talked about the kids. We talked about the empathy for the kids. We talked about what they're possibly going through. Well, it doesn't look like King Combs is going through anything. King Combs is having a party. Look at this.
Ciao.
Now, if you're in LA,
I'm not no attorney.
Read the room, sir.
Right. I'm not no attorney. I do crisis publicity and marketing. I can't support this in any way. I really can't support this in any way. And even if he were to have a party, I wouldn't promote it online. And even if I were to promote it online, I wouldn't promote it with no clothes on. Am I reading this wrong, Brian, in Attorney Redwine? Am I the one that if I saw this pop up as his attorney, I would want to go throw the phone out the window?
He would get a phone call. I would say, what's going on?
Take it down.
No, do you want, I know you're not guilty. I know you haven't been charged with anything. I understand all that. Our job right now is to do nothing. Okay?
Right.
Go find another house in Miami, run around on a boat or a jet ski for all I care. You want to go buy another watch? Have 10. But we're not throwing a party at LA's hottest club while we're being investigated by Homeland Security. It's just inconsistent. Stop it.
Absolutely. And me as a civil attorney, right, who does personal injury, wrongful death, serious injury suits, I'm calling my private investigator, baby.
Absolutely.
I'm calling my private investigator. I said, line up the baddest chick.
Absolutely.
You know in LA. I want to have them go to his house. They're gonna party all night. They're gonna do that, and the third. We're gonna give them pins, secret pins that record, purses that record. Yes, we got to get all this data.
But see, also, counselors, wouldn't you also have somebody who's standing outside that party collecting all the names of people who are supporting people that are supporting him in the party?
Data.
Because those broads are broke. Okay, they are like broke 20-year-olds. So you say, look, I'm gonna give you $1,000 to give me some footage of this, that, and the third.
And you know she gonna record it.
That's gonna pay my rent. Maybe not in California, but you get my gist.
Well, I hadn't been out to a nightclub in a long time. That's what happens when you get married to have kids. That's okay.
You're a good man.
Through a source, I went out to DJ Khaled's birthday party at Club Live in Miami last fall. Everyone was there. Kanye was there. It was great. I thought people still danced in the club. This is what they do. They got their phone.
That's it.
King is going to be on Instagram 10,000 times on Saturday.
Right.
Not what you want. Not what
That's
you want.
Not what you want. And I say this all the time. People, young kids nowadays, tell on themselves. They basically tell their own crimes. So if I worked at a police station, all I have to do is go up and down Instagram to get my probable cause. So when I get the call later of the arrest, I already saw what you did.
Unbelievable.
Literally, I can't tell you the number of cases I've had where like I got a low offer for this injury case. Like maybe I got an offer of $2,500. I went to that man's Instagram and I pulled shots of him smoking weed while driving the car. It was an auto accident. Smoking weed while driving the car. And I sent that as a supplement. I said, you really want to do this in front of a Dallas County jury? Really? Right. They gave me the policy limits. I was like, thank you, bye-bye. They tell on themselves.
So they might want to hire attorney
Well,
Symone Redwine now.
Well, you might.
know.
I'm listening to her, and she's very sharp. If you're in Texas, you might want to look her
I'm
up.
loving everything. So I think across the board, this idea of having a party and promoting it on Instagram with no shirt on, where there's alcohol involved, is just a thumbs down idea.
I mean, look at
And
the
don't
picture.
forget, you can reserve your tables now. I would even get the run of the night of credit cards. Everybody who ran a credit card in that party, I would have a list of their
You
names.
know what? Subpoena, yeah. That's
all
on the
of
subpoena
that.
list.
I would scoop all that information up and throw it all in there for what would you? That's discovery.
Discovery.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's discovery.
You throw it all in there and you let the judge get out.
Anybody in the chat, can y'all please call your friend King Combs and just tell him we understand, son, but this is not a good idea. You're giving people the ammunition to shoot at your dad. All right. I'm tired. This case has got to be.
It keeps on. It's amazing. It's literally like amazing.
This case just keeps on giving, right? I'm like,
right.
All right. Here we go. All right, we're gonna start with you, criminal defense attorney Brion Ross. What are you telling your client right now? Because he's on the phone with you. We all know the cases here. You're on the phone with three people. You're on the phone with your legal team. You're on the phone with your crisis management team. You're all on the phone with him 3, 4, well, actually, that's not true, 10, 11, 12, 13 times a day. Yeah. Brion, what are you telling Diddy? What message are you continuously saying in his ear? What is it that you're hoping that you can get him to do or listen or break through as it relates to what he's doing? Because all this evidence that's coming out now, what would you be telling him?
Get King on the phone right now and tell him to cancel the party right now. Okay, that's number 1.
Okay.
2, stay on your island. Go get a drink with a coconut in it. Don't leave. Stay there. Let me deal with the drama here. You haven't been charged anything. Hopefully, if this lawyer, see, people, you have to understand, there's different levels of attorneys. If you are a certain attorney who the U.S. Attorney's Office respects, they'll communicate with you and tell you what's happening. They'll ask for things, and you can use that to help your client. If you don't have those relationships with those attorneys, the U.S. attorneys, they won't communicate with you. They won't return your phone calls. So hopefully his attorney is talking to the U.S. Attorney's Office daily via email, text message, however they're communicating and saying, what's going on?
What are you asking? That's right. Tell me, what are you asking? You've been in this case. You've tried on the federal level. What are you asking? What are you asking? What are you asking?
Is there anything my client can do for you? Is there anything he can say? Oh, you want us to respond? They're sending documents. What's this? You're trying to give very soft landing, legal, bland answers to them, and you're trying to pick their case apart from the inside. It's very difficult to do. On a criminal basis, remember, in the Fed system, you don't get anything. In Florida, we get depositions. We get to talk to the police officers. In the federal system, they walk in with an arrest form, a witness list, and you're going to trial. So you really want to, it's very scary. We don't always call it federal trials. We call it federal sentencing. So you really want to try to bring that down, and that's what his lawyer should be doing, mitigation.
All right. All right, Symone, what are you telling him?
I'm going to say do whatever Brian told you to do. I don't do federal law. And he sounds like that's a real smart man. That's a good man, Savannah. That's what I'm saying. Period, Pooh.
Well, I'm going to give you from a crisis management perspective, right? I have a client that it's just getting uglier day by day. I don't believe I would have let my client get on a plane and try to fly out the country. I think that to me is sending the wrong message to what's happening. You haven't been arrested, but the message that you're sending by jumping on a plane, selling your shares, abandoning your kids is not a message of fatherhood. It's not a message of innocence. It's not a message in which the public can interpret it as anything positive. Am I wrong as for attorneys? I think I would not have let him. I would have preferred to see him and paparazzi be called or whatever of him having dinner with his family. Bring your family together in this time of compromise. Show the public that you are a father that's concerned about not just your life, but your kids' life. Let the attorneys and media feed that narrative for you instead of this, let me run, escape, and hide. Because I have tons of people who are out here every day saying that I'm bad. So for me, I would be showing in every way a good. Now, I wouldn't be supporting my son having a birthday party, but I definitely would have a birthday party at some outdoors restaurant, having a cake, giving him family. I would bring in my mama. I would bring in Kimora with the girls. I would bring in bigger names of support that could walk through that door and show, hey, we're standing with Diddy in this time of distress. I don't like this idea of fleeing and then getting caught with a 25-year-old boy who Rodney said it's a drug dealer.
Not good at all.
What are you doing?
Literally, the moment that complaint came out with that accusation, Diddy should have distanced him from that man.
Yeah, he should have never been around him,
seen publicly or otherwise, with any of those people that he was out. Perhaps if he was still dating Young Miami, perhaps, but definitely not. Right. Yeah, but definitely not the drug dealer crackhead boy who literally looks like he hasn't washed his bottom or cleansed himself in 11 years. Absolutely not. I object.
You can't stand that dirty little boy.
He looks stinky. He looks stinky and he looks untrustworthy. And most importantly, I firmly believe he's going to be the first to flip and he will give us the tea. That is my.
Let me ask you this really quick. If Rodney said that Carisha Please is a worker, would you be seen around Carisha or no?
No, not a chance.
I don't think they're doing it to each other anymore.
You don't want any of them around at this time. You don't want Daphne around.
And what with them not doing each other? If Diddy, if you're not doing it to him, you have no purpose in his life. You got to do it to him, or you got to give him.
Right. You know what's so interesting? I would have had that new little baby. I would have gotten caught rocking that new little baby on a front
at church on Easter Sunday.
On Easter Sunday.
I would have been
at my palm. I would have had my Palm Sunday.
Palm Sunday.
Oh no, I would have gone to two baptisms.
I would have rode in on a donkey.
I'm gonna be a TJ's church. I'll let you know if I see Diddy in there with the baby. Rock the baby, swallow it up, rock the baby, swallow it up.
He did.
Only with y'all.
Great job.
All right, everybody.
Great job.
What an evening we had tonight with these two legal beagles right here. And once again, let me share with the audience, it is called Legal Beagles. We've been corrected in the chat by saying it's the Legal Eagles. No, it's not. It's Legal Beagles. I call them that for a reason because of what you heard tonight. They are on top of their game. They win for their clients and they know the law. All right, everybody, we're going to take the next 5 to 10 minutes to answer some of your questions. All right, so what do you want to know? Hit me in the chat. But before we go there, can I get some facts emojis, please? Can I get some facts emojis, please, if you enjoyed tonight's show? If you enjoyed tonight's show, can I get some facts emojis, please? All right, here we go. First question. Oh, well, we can read some comments too. Black Luxury said Carisha pushing pink cocaine. Oh, all right. Wow. All right. Martin Elder said, where is TD Jakes? Wow. All right. Damon says, you sleep selling Bibles. Jesus. Okay. All right. Oh, it's so many. Demonde H said, y'all, sorry, y'all. It's moving so fast. I can't get them.
Flying. It's flying. Look at this.
I can't get them.
I saw another good question. Somebody said, where's the adopted white girl?
I don't know. Okay. Vanessa Henson saying, how long would it All right. How long would it take for guys, I'm trying.
Raina asked, why wasn't he, if there's evidence, why isn't he arrested yet? Let me answer that one. Raina, why is he not charged or arrested if it's evidence? That's what I see. I can answer that while you pick your comment.
Okay, go ahead.
Raina, if you're watching, the federal government is experts at building up a case. By the time they come for you, typically they have, if not months, potentially years, maybe a decade of habits and evidence against you. So while Mr. Combs may be able to move freely now, right? Don't think that they're not back there still talking to witnesses, taking witness statements. You have to coordinate these things. They don't happen in 1 minute, and they're doing a lot of stuff. So give it time. I do agree with Symone where she said yesterday she believes that Mr. Combs will be indicted. It's unfortunate. These are allegations. They're not proven yet, but I do believe the same.
Also, Brian, remember too that he's a celebrity. He would be considered one of the most influential celebrities in the Black community.
Correct.
So they can't misstep here.
Yeah.
They can't misstep here. If they misstep here, any misstep, this case will be dismissed.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Especially on the federal level. So they got to double check, triple check, dot the I, cross the T 3-4 times. So
very high
there you
profile.
go.
Now, one comment that I had seen, and I've seen throughout social media, is a question about the RICO and to what extent could Young Miami or Daphne Joy be wrapped up into a RICO? So I wanted to ask Brian, could you speak to RICO? Because I'm a civil lawyer, so I'm not really clear on how RICO works.
RICO stands for the proposition that the alleged defendant who is at the top, all right, can be charged with the same crime as the alleged defendant at the bottom.
Oh,
So
damn.
Wow.
The easiest scenario is to think of a big old ship pulling in 5,000 kilos of cocaine, right, into Miami.
Boom.
Right? The feds are there and they bust the ship and they get everybody and they say, okay, on that ship, right, was a person who just came in that day. It was his first day. He walked on it. He didn't know what was on the ship. He can be charged, not necessarily convicted, but under a RICO, he can be charged as though the entire ship was his.
Oh,
that is the value of a RICO.
Wow.
What?
That's why it's scary.
You broke that down. I've been the school and they didn't teach me that.
That's the value of a RICO. Very scary. That's hard. They would work out, but that is, you see this in cases where the street level drug dealers who are selling nickel and dime bags at PH Club with King's birthday party are charged with the same thing as the big guy or guy who brought it in from Colombia. So that's all the way down.
Could Young Miami and her pink cocaine that was given and or shared allegedly with sex workers, allegedly, could she be charged the same as Diddy as the main trafficker?
If Diddy's connection, the nexus, is tied to that bag of, and he's somehow trafficking, then yes, she could be.
What is he doing?
Right? So you got one little $50 bag of ketamine versus a person who has 50 kilos. His prison time aggregated is much worse, but because you are charged under RICO and convicted under RICO, you can receive the same prison time.
Wow.
Very powerful.
Baby, this was so good tonight. All right, everybody. All right, algoriters and soulmates. Let's put some fax emojis in the chat for the lovely Symone Redwine and our criminal defense attorney, Brion Ross. Also, Brion Ross will not be with us tomorrow night. He's got other obligations on Thursday and Friday. But we also want to put some applause in the chat for all of Brian's great commentary this week and teaching us exactly the parts of the law that maybe none of us knew as related to this case. All right, that's it. That's going to conclude part 3 of Diddy Do It. I'm on the panel and I've learned so much tonight. I don't know what to say. I want to thank both of you. Thank you, Legal Beagles, for joining me. Thank you for breaking this down for me. And be sure to tune in tomorrow night again for Diddy Do It, part 4. Everyone have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Al, for inviting me.